In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this top. It is nothing but single crochet. That's all you need to know. All you need is any 4-weight yarn. I'm using this one for this video, and a 5mm crochet hook. And once we get to the end, you would need one of these tapestry needles to weave in your end. I am making a size medium, and to make a larger or smaller size, all you would need to do is adjust the chain amount. Every other step is exactly the same. You will just have to do a little bit more in your first row. I'm going to start by chaining 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I have 13, and then you are going to start single crocheting into the second chain from the hook. So we have 1 chain from the hook, 2nd chain from the hook. You're going to start crocheting into this one. So put your hook through the chain, pull up a loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull that yarn through there, and there is your first single crochet. And then you go to the next chain and do the same thing. Hook through, pull the yarn through the chain. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull the yarn through onto the next chain. Put your hook through, pull the yarn through the chain, pull the yarn through the 2 loops. And your project may be starting to curl. I believe this depends on multiple things like your tension or even the type of yarn that you're using. Don't worry about it. It'll straighten itself out as you go. And then if you lose track of which chain you started stitching in, you can just kind of, stretch it and see you stitched into this chain last. This one will be the next one. It definitely gets easier to see the more that you do it. And as I am single crocheting through my chain, I'm using my middle finger and my thumb to just make sure the project is where I want it. Instead of just holding onto the chain and it kind of starts to move everywhere, don't be scared to just hold it down where you want it so that you can see what you're doing. When I first started, I was so scared to mess up my project if I was to grab it any certain way. Once you get to your last chain, which would be this little stitch with the knot in it, you are going to put 3 single crochet in this 1 chain here. And so how I'm going to do this is 1 single crochet on this side of the knot, and then I'm going to do the other 2 and make sure the knot falls on the other side. Really doesn't matter, it's just some sort of OCD type of process that I have. So I did 1 single crochet, two, and 3. And now that you've done those 3, take a stitch marker or a bobby pin or an earring or another piece of yarn, anything that you can slide into this little stitch here. It will help you so much with counting and keeping track of your rows. We did the 3 stitches and I put it in the middle of the 3. And now you're just going to continue down the other side. So we did all of our 3 stitches in there, so the next chain would be here. Just back to doing 1 single crochet per chain. The hardest part of this is just getting this foundation row started. After this, it starts to hold itself together a lot easier and it'll be easier to manage. So once you get to the bottom, it could be a little hard to see. Here's where you need to count your stitches to make sure everything is going how it's planned. Every one of these V shapes here is 1 stitch. Let's see. That's 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 1 stitch. So I'm not going to count this one. I'm just going to make sure both these stitches are even on both sides. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's our 12th stitch, so we have 12 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so once you have the same amount of stitches on both sides, you're at the end of that first row. We are calling this 1 row. You are going to chain 1 and then turn your work over. And now we are going to be doing the same thing. Single crochet in each of these stitches. And make sure you go through both sides. There will be 2 pieces of yarn that you're going through now, rather than just 1 from when we made the chain. But other than that, everything else is the same. Gonna go through both of those pieces of yarn in that 1 stitch and single crochet. All the way to this top. Once you're back up to where your stitch marker is, you can take it out and crochet 3 single crochet into that 1 stitch. That is going to be the pattern for every single row. At that very top stitch, crochet 3 into it, and then put your stitch marker back in the center one. So we did 1, 2, 3. So we're putting this in the middle stitch. And then same thing, just continue single crocheting all the way down. And then once you're at the bottom of this row, make sure you have the same amount of stitches on both sides. Now you are just going to chain 1, turn your work, and do the same thing over and over again until it is your cup size. And finding your cup size is just holding it up to your chest until it fits how you want it. And then once you have it to the size that you want, make a chain 1, trim your working yarn, and just pull the string through. And then repeat this process for the next cup, but don't cut it. So now you have your 2 cups. Just gonna lay them side by side on the table. Have the ends or corners of your cups lined up on the same side. So I stopped on this cup. I'm gonna have it facing that way. This cup over here facing that way. Did not chain 1 yet. So I'm going to chain 1. And the next step is going to be single crocheting all the way across the bottom. And so because we don't have clear defined stitches down here like we do up here, we're just gonna guess. And so what I do is just single crochet in between every little pattern here. So I'm gonna start through this gap here. Squeak, squeak. And then just continue into this one. Just so that I have as even as possible single crochet stitches going all the way across the bottom. So I'm just gonna go through here, 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 and so on. On the end, I am going to end it in the very last stitch that's on this other side here. Just gonna single crochet through that. So for my size, I will be chaining 3 in the middle. And because we set it up this way, but we work in this direction, we need to flip our project upside down. For me, this is definitely the trickiest step. And because we ended on this cup in that last stitch on the side, we're gonna start on this side in the last stitch on this side. So through here, we're gonna chain 3 or chain however many you would like. If you're choosing to not chain, then what you would do is just go directly into this stitch with your hook, pull that yarn through the second cup and through the first cup, and then you would continue single crocheting like that, and now you have it attached there. But because I want a little bit more space, I am going to chain 3. 1 here, 2, 3. This is definitely the trickiest part for me. Putting my hook in through that last stitch on the side. Pulling the yarn through there. And so now they are attached like this. And now you're just going to continue your single crochet along here. Once you get to the end here, you are going to chain 80. Now that you have chained 80, you are going to go back and single crochet into every single chain all the way back down to the cup. So not in this first one here, but the second chain from the hook. Once you get down to the bottom, or back to the cup, make sure your project is the right direction. You don't want to go back the direction you just came. We're going up the side of this cup now. If you have a loose string here, you can crochet over it. As you're single crocheting through here, just have it on top of the project right here. Or if that is too complicated, or if that didn't really make sense to you, I'm going to show you at the end what to do with this. So right now you can either include it in your single crocheting along the side of the cup, or just leave it completely to the side, and I'll show you what to do later. So I am going to crochet with it along the side. And you're just going to single crochet through every stitch all the way up to the middle. Okay, once you get to this top stitch, single crochet and chain 80. And I think you can guess by now, you are gonna single crochet from the second chain from the hook all the way back down to the cup. I hope crocheting has been fun for you so far. If you're new to it, I hope it hasn't been too stressful. It does get easier. I'm still very new, if it's not obvious. If you're brand new, I might not seem that new, but I'm definitely only a few months in. And it is so fun for me, and I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of things that you can make by just this one stitch. Just knowing a couple stitches, it's unlimited, the things that you can make. Whoops. If you mess up, just very slowly backtrack your steps until you can find a new starting point. As you're getting back to the top, make sure your cup is the right direction for you to continue working down. You don't want to work the way that you just came from. We're going to go the other way now, which should be to the middle. So we're working down from the strap here, and then we're going to go down to the middle. And when you get back to the cup, you are going to single crochet into that same top stitch. And continue single crocheting all the way down. Now that we are down to the middle, if you chose to just have your cups together, just single crochet all the way up. If you made a chain in between to give a little bit of space in between the cups, just single crochet into each one of those chains. And then just single crochet all the way up the side of this cup. Make sure it is facing the right direction. And then we are just gonna repeat the same thing. Single crochet all the way up, chain 80, single crochet back, single crochet all the way down, chain 80, single crochet back. So once all of the straps are crocheted, you should be back down to here. And then you are just gonna single crochet one more time all the way across this bottom row, stopping where the next strap starts. All right, now to finish this off, now that we're at the end, we are going to put our hook through that stitch, pull the yarn through that stitch and also through that loop. You're going to chain 1, cut your yarn, and pull that all the way through. Ta-da! And now I'm going to show you how to weave in your ends. I have one here and I have this one here. You're going to take a, what are these called? Darning needle? No, that's the bendy one. Tapestry needles. Just thread that through. And then you're just going to weave it in where you crocheted already. Just right next to where the string is. Just work that needle through a few stitches. Pull that through. And then you are going to skip the last one that you came out of. So my string is a little short. Okay, skip that last one that you went through so that it doesn't slip right back out. And just weave it back through. Pull it a little tight so that it kind of gives you some excess. Trim it. And then straighten it back out. And now it's gone. Same with this one over here. You're just going to thread your needle and weave it through your work. So you want to try to find a good place to hide it so that it isn't visible and doesn't really mess up the pattern of your work. So I'm just going to go this way. And then go back, skipping over the last stitch that you came out of. And then just for some extra security, I'm gonna go back one more time, skipping the last stitch that I came out of. Pull out some extra so that you can cut it and pull the end back in. Straighten it out. And we are done. Now, the big reveal, trying it on. I hope yours came out just like you wanted it to. I hope it was a good learning experience for you. If you made it, I would love to see. Show me on Instagram at Bikerina.